So we're back here with our final video of our Trek 3500 Weight Weenie series. I'm on the camera today just to keep it a little more steady. Brady had a really difficult time keeping this phone steady, so I'm on my new phone now, which captures actually pretty high def stuff. So you may recognize the bike now or may not recognize the bike now. We wanted to really do a whole video on the upgrades. We had one of our friends who was going to help us out with that, and he got a little busy. I ended up having to take the bike to the bike shop to put on all the upgrades, so I wasn't able to really get accurate weights on all the parts before the bike was fully built up. But the bike is now down to 24 pounds 5 ounces. That is a huge savings. We've literally saved over 7 pounds on this bike now. So basically, the only thing left on the frame, well, the only thing left of the bike is the frame and the seat post and the seat. So I'll just kind of walk you through what we did for upgrades. It's basically a whole SRAM X9 drivetrain. We ended up going with a 3926 crankset. It's a 2x10 setup. We went with a SRAM X9. That's an X9 Type 2 rear derailleur, which has the lockout on it for when you're taking your wheel off. It's pretty darn nice. We went with, again, a SRAM cassette. That's an 11x36 on the back. Again, the chain's I believe it's a 1070 chain, again made by SRAM. Both are in the front derailleur, again, is a SRAM X9 2x10 derailleur. If we look up front, again, you can see the SRAM X9 shifters, front and rear. And if you look at the front of the bike again here, we have the Avid Elixir 7 brakes. There's the brake levers, and I'm sure you can kind of see already down on the front, they're hydraulic disc brakes. That's Avid HS1 rotors, 160 millimeter. Again, on the rear, you can see the brakes. Avid Elixir 7 with the HS1 rotor on the rear. You can also may notice the wheels. Those are Ellsworth wheels. There was a massive weight savings on those wheels. We were talking, I think it would weighed in, we actually did get a weight on those, approximately 1,500 grams for the entire set. So we looked at saving well over 1.5 pounds, maybe close to 2 pounds just on the wheels alone. Lennon's not feeling too good today, so I'm not going to ask him to really say much other than what do you think of the bike, Lennon?
It's even better than the last time.
The unfortunate thing is with this new setup, he's had this setup now for the last 2 races, and he actually took third in both the races. Ended up losing by 2 seconds in one, and then the last race he crashed pretty hard and ended up barely finishing. He still took third, but he got ran over by the guy who took second place. Overall, what did I spend on all this? It was more than I really wanted to spend. If you include the original bike price of the Truck 3500, I spent a little over $1,500 on everything. I'm also now looking at for next year upgrading to a carbon frame. I'm just going to get one of those Chinese knockoffs, and the one I'm looking at right now with shipping is going to cost us, well, it's really dirt cheap. I can't imagine. It was $365. So if you take off $100 because the original Trek 3500 costed me about $450. $100 less. I'm looking at $1,400 to build a what I think will be probably saving another 2 pounds on the frame alone, because the carbon frame comes in at 1165. I'm pretty sure this Trek frame weighs well over 4.5 pounds. It's not the lightest thing in the world. I didn't get an exact weight on it. We forgot to weigh that as well. But you're looking at, once we get the carbon frame next year, which we're going to order in about another month or so, just trying to decide on size, you're probably looking at a 22, sub 22 pound bike, a little over 22 pounds. And I challenge anybody to build a 22-pound bike for $1,400. So I know a lot of, and I still got the original Trek 3500 parts. So basically, I got two bikes now. The Trek 3500 will probably end up going to London's mom just to ride that. She has one of those old store-bought bikes from Dick's, which it's an okay bike, but it's not the greatest for the trails. So overall in all, I've basically got two bikes for $1,800, and it ain't too bad. So the big savings though we got was I was able to get most of the drivetrain, excluding the crankset, and those brakes. I basically got the brakes and the derailleurs and the chain and everything for like $210. I couldn't believe it when the guy said, "I'll give it to you for $210." That was quite amazing. That was my biggest savings right there. But everywhere I went, I felt a pretty good price. So basically, $210 covered that front and rear derailleur, the front and rear brakes, both the shifters and the brake levers, for $210. That X9 crankset, I literally paid $136, and that includes shipping. Everything I'm talking about is shipping. So that was pretty cheap. And I think we already covered pretty much all the other stuff in all the other videos. That was in the wheels. These wheels, if you really want a set of 26-inch wheels yet for a mountain bike, they're actually quite nice. And right now, Wheel and Sprocket down in Appleton still has a few sets of these things left for $249. It's amazing. I can't believe. I mean, they're just basically closing them out. Nobody's really buying 26-inch components anymore, so it's not a bad deal. I mean, basically going to have a 22-pound rocket ship for $1,400 brand new once I'm done with it. So all in all, next year we'll still have a pretty decent bike to race on next year with a carbon frame. We'll move them up to an 18-inch frame or so, 17 and a half, 18. And it's not too bad. Any parting words, London? Yeah, he doesn't want to talk because he's feeling sick, and I just wanted to get this video done. Temperatures have dropped at least 30 degrees in this past week in Green Bay. It's hasn't been pleasant out. London hasn't been able to train in a week, just because of the weather, and he got sick right away. As soon as the weather plummeted 30 degrees, I think everybody got sick. So we have a few races left this year. We got 2 Wars races left. There is 2 school mountain bike races left, and then we're going to finish off the year by traveling to Minnesota to race the Minnesota Mountain Bike Series. They have their very last race of the year in Red Wing, Minnesota. So hopefully maybe we'll just do another update at the end of the year to give you some ideas of how well London did this year, and have a good one.